it was a really, really wonderful trip. And today we visited these incredible monasteries. I tell you this, Kostuba,
Yeah.
there is something about seeing a monk walk around they're all wearing the same clothes. They got no hair, so they don't look cool. Um, they're wearing ridiculous wooden shoes, and they're all wearing the same thing. And there's something that just sort of slaps you in the face. That's what I felt in me this morning. Something like everybody, we're all there. Like they have this beautiful temple complex. Me and Pranapri and Dominica, we're walking around like tourists. We've got a bead bag in our hand, so we're trying to be a little serious and sitting in front of Buddha, meditating. But at the same time, we're tourists looking around. And there's just something about seeing a monk that makes you think like we're just posing, taking selfies and sightseeing, and like these guys are serious. These guys are serious about life, and it gave me some sobriety. You know what I'm talking about. They're not
I
trying
think I know
to.
exactly what you're talking about.
They're
Yeah,
not trying to
yeah, yeah.
impress anybody.
At the same time, Raghu, I get your point for sure. But then
Thank you.
on the other hand, it's what's going on internally that really matters. Sometimes it's the person
Why
that looks
judge
just
them?
like an
Why judge
average
them? I'm
Joe.
trying to make a positive statement about the
I
monks I
wasn't
saw.
judging them. I wasn't judging them at all.
Yeah, you were saying, well, who
No,
knows what's going on inside?
no, no,
Who
no. I
knows,
was just
Kostuba? Who
making a
knows what's going
general
on? All
state.
I'm saying is
That's
they're
my
living.
point. That's
It's
that's what I'm
cold out.
saying.
They're walking around barefoot in their wooden
I'm gonna-
shoes.
I was. You're making assumptions. I was really talking the other way around. I was saying that someone like you, someone that's going in there looking more ordinary, maybe just as deep as them. Why did you assume that I was making a negative? I was making a positive statement.
Anyway, I don't think I'm as deep as them. I don't think so. I'm taking pictures of myself and like the Buddha in the background. No, I'm not. I don't think I was as deep as them. I appreciate
Well,
them. It sobers us
whether
up.
it's you
And
or
then
someone
and
else.
then there's the regular people. Just it makes all our clothing look stupid. Like, why am I wearing a plaid shirt today? Who am I trying to impress with this plaid shirt? It's just like it just cuts down. It just cuts down the ego, and you realize these guys are actually endeavoring for self-realization. And it was a
But you know
very
what's good,
beautiful.
Raghunath? You know
What?
what's good is when you have a healthy community. When like the lay people, or like they're looking at the renunciates and saying, "Look at them. Look at how renounced they are. Look how simply they're living. We need to be more like that. I need to bring that element deeper into my life. They inspire me." And when the renunciates are thinking, yes, I'm wearing this dress, but I'm not always living up to it. And these people, look at them. They're dealing with so much stuff, but still they got such a strong spiritual interest. I'm living here in the ashram, or in the monastery, and my mind's in the material world half the time. When both are thinking like that,
Yeah.
then you actually have, you can really have a strong community. And you're thinking like that, Raghunath, on your end. So you're doing your part.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Live from Tokyo, Japan, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a Bhakti Yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Good morning, beautiful people. It's Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. It's episode 1707. Me and Pranapriya wrapping up our trip in Tokyo, leaving. It's nighttime here. It's 9 o'clock. It's hard. It's been hard for me to do this podcast at night. I usually take a 2-hour nap right before the podcast. I skipped my nap. I fell asleep on the train today. We had an incredible day with Dominica. Just showed us around. We see this. If you're watching the show yesterday, we're staying at this incredible old school. What are they called again?
Yoka.
Hotel.
No, they're called Gensos.
Onsen.
Onsens. A Ginsu. That's a knife, not a Ginsu. It's not a Ginsu. It's like an old traditional hotel. It's an inn. And anyway,
It's a therapeutic hotel that was founded in 1630.
yeah, they found it in 1630. I'll tell you this: I've been taking 2 baths a day for the last 3 days. I don't even
How
take
do you
that many.
feel?
I feel clean. I feel clean inside and out. But it was a really, really wonderful trip. And today we visited these incredible monasteries. I tell you this, Kaustubha,
Yeah.
there is something about seeing a monk walk around they're all wearing the same clothes. They got no hair, so they don't look cool. They're wearing ridiculous wooden shoes. And they're all wearing the same thing. And there's something that just sort of slaps you in the face. That's what I felt in me this morning. Something like everybody, we're all there. Like they have this beautiful temple complex. Me and Pranapri and Dominica, we're walking around like tourists. You know, we got a bead bag in our hand, so we're trying to be a little serious and sitting in front of Buddha, meditating. But at the same time, we're tourists looking around. And there's just something about seeing a monk that makes you think like we're just posing, taking selfies and sightseeing, and like these guys are serious. These guys are serious about life, and it gave me some sobriety. You know what I'm talking about. They're not trying
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
they're not trying to impress anybody.
At the same time, Raghu, I get your point for sure. But then on the other hand, it's what's going on internally that really matters. Sometimes it's the person.
Why
that looks
judge
just
them?
like
Why
an
judge
average
them?
Joe.
I'm trying to make a positive statement about the monks.
I wasn't judging them. I wasn't judging them at all.
Yeah, you were saying, well,
No.
who knows what's going on inside?
No.
Who knows?
I was just
Kaustubha?
making
Who knows
a
what's going
general
on?
statement.
All I'm saying is
That's
they're
my
living.
point. That's
It's
what I'm
cold
saying.
out. They're walking around barefoot in their wooden shoes.
I was. You're making assumptions. I was really talking the other way around. I was saying that someone like you, someone that's going in there looking more ordinary, maybe just as deep as them. Why did you assume that I was making a negative? I was making a positive statement.
Anyway, I don't think I'm as deep as them. I don't think so. I'm taking pictures of myself and like, the Buddha in the background. And no, I'm not. I don't think I was as deep as them. I appreciate them. It sobers us up.
Whether it's you
And
or
then,
someone
and then
else.
there's the regular people. Just it makes all our clothing look stupid. Like, why am I wearing a plaid shirt today? Who am I trying to impress with this plaid shirt? It's just like it just cuts down. It just cuts down the ego, and you realize these guys are actually endeavoring for self-realization. And it was a
But
very
you know what's good, Raghunath? You
What?
know what's good is when you have a healthy community. When like the lay people, or they're looking at the renunciates and saying, "Look at them. Look at how renounced they're. Look how simply they're living. We need to be more like that. I need to bring that element deeper into my life. They inspire me." And when the renunciates are thinking, "Yes, I'm wearing this dress, but I'm not always living up to it. And these people, look at them. They're dealing with so much stuff, but still they got such a strong spiritual interest. I'm living here in the ashram or in the monastery, and my mind's in the material world half the time." When both are thinking like that,
Yeah.
then you actually have, you can really have a strong community. And you're thinking like that, Raghunath, on your end, so you're doing your part.
Well, thank you. And I did get a little sober wake-up call this morning. I woke up at 4:30 this morning.
Did you understand your call?
I get as soon as I wake up, I get a message on my phone from your friend of mine, Nityananda Chandra. Hey, good luck out there. I was like, it's 4:35 in the morning, and Nityananda Chandra just wrote me a message. Good luck out there. What the hell? I was like, what do you mean by? Thank you. What do you mean by that? He's like, there's a tsunami warning. I was like, you are kidding, right? He's like, no, he sent me a CNN thing of there is a tsunami warning, a level 7.9 earthquake hit Japan. And I was just like, oh my God, my biggest fear is unlocked right now. Tsunamis. I've been fearing tsunamis since childhood.
Have no fear,
And we've been talking about them. We were talking about them yesterday on the show.
You may have been fearing tsunamis for lifetimes.
Maybe for lifetimes. I've been fearing tsunamis. But
right.
sure enough, there was an earthquake yesterday. That nothing. I don't think anything
hit your
tragic
area?
happened.
Okay,
Right,
good.
Dominica? Nothing tragic.
All right.
And Dominica's like, for us, it's low key. It's a 7. Excuse me. Okay.
All right, let's keep this moving. It's a little bit wrong.
But thanks for the heads up.
Prawn Priya. Any
Good
announcements to
morning.
make?
Yeah, well, we are traveling back to the States tomorrow, so we're not exactly sure when our next show will be.
Let's
But
go
we'll-
ahead and say next Monday, and
Monday at 7
if not,
a.m.
we'll figure out. If it can't be on Monday, we'll figure it out long before then.
Okay, great.
Why can't it be on Monday?
Because Kaustubha's got to check his schedule.
There are other people have lives, Raghunath.
Or other people? Okay.
We're all not. It's not that we're all gallivanting around Japan. That's the only reason why someone can't do a show.
Also, there's some Back to Your Cover Group meetings happening. We have live meetings happening in Berlin, Germany, and Philadelphia. And if you want to join an online meeting, go to backtoyourcovergroup.com and check out the online meeting list. We have them happening
Holiday
in all time
season.
zones, all days. Yeah, and there'll be some special meetings going on Christmas and those days as well. But I'll announce that when it gets closer.
Let's face it, just because a person becomes a monk doesn't mean they've dealt with any of their issues. Now, I'm taking your side.
Yeah, whoa.
Now I'm jumping into your side. You could have the costume of the monk,
As
but
a
if
matter
you've
of
never
fact,
really
the way those
dealt-
guys are looking at you today, they were judging you, Raghunath.
Yeah, actually, sometimes people become monks because they have so many issues. You know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get drawn towards God because they have some demons haunting them, and they're like, "I got to do something about this." And so they
Sometimes
go
they're
in
lazy.
there with a lot of sometimes they go into ashrams with tons of dysfunction up their sleeve. You know. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to dive in today, sir?
I am. Prana Priya. Got a nugget
Yeah,
for
should
us?
we get into the nugget?
This
Today's
is
nugget
from
comes-
another monastery person right here.
Brother
Oh, well,
Lawrence.
not exactly. I'll tell you a little bit about Brother Lawrence, but you go ahead and get it started.
Okay. Nugget is the time of business does not with me differ.
Well, hold on,
from
but
the
we got to tell people. We got to tell Brother Lawrence.
Okay.
This is from
Brother Lawrence is a 17th century lay brother in a Carmelite monastery in Paris.
See, he's
What's a lay brother? What's a lay brother?
It means, I think it means he was hanging out at the monastery all the time, but he wasn't a monk.
We call them fringies.
They call them brothers.
Yes.
If you're
nicer.
if you're new
Lay
to
brothers.
Hare Krishna 1.0, if there was a person who was sort of like hanging out at the temple but never like committed, the pejorative was fringy.
So Brother Lawrence
Wh-
writes,
Yeah, what does he say?
the time of business does not with me differ from the time of prayer. And in the noise and clatter of my kitchen, while several persons are at the same time calling for different things, I possess God in his great tranquility, as if I were upon my knees at the blessed sacrament.
Something a fringy would say.
Raghunath. That's Brother Lawrence talking here.
Just kidding.
Let's hear it again.
Yeah, please.
The time of business does not with me differ from the time of prayer. And in the noise and clatter of my kitchen, while several persons are at the same time calling for different things, I possess God in as great tranquility as if I were upon my knees at the blessed sacrament.
Okay. What do you think?
What do you think, Kaustubha?
What do I think?
That what a
I think
fringy would
it's-
say, or you think he's a deep thinker?
I think
Sometimes-
he's a deep thinker.
Okay, because sometimes people are just like, will do anything to sort of deflect their own personal surrender, and sometimes they're actually very deep thinkers. I think it's
What does that
radical
have to do
statement.
with Brother Lawrence?
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, I do think he's a deep thinker. I do think it's like he's a radical statement because he's not just saying I've learned to tolerate ordinary life and I'm okay with it. Even that is kind of impressive. You know, he's saying I encounter God there, not in some meditation hall, not in necessarily a silent, mountaintop, but in a noisy kitchen, which is very ordinary. And with people calling his name and with things burning and clanging going on, because there's always clanging in a kitchen. So it's actually impressive because, and as someone practicing spirituality, most of us are waiting for life, some special circumstance, to facilitate some special spiritual awakening. But he's saying the sacred's already embedded in the simple. It's not that his external world has to become divine. It's that his eyes have now become divine. And once that happens, even the washing of the dishes can become a meeting place for God, you know?
Right. Right. You know, I got a little more here on Brother Lawrence.
Please
So
tell me.
By saying he's a lay brother means he was not a priest. He gave no public sermons. And he spent most of his life just doing these things like washing the dishes and preparing food and apparently repairing sandals and running errands and doing things like that. So on the external level, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Like he was the guy walking around just looking like an ordinary guy, right?
Well, we
Outwardly,
knew people like in that Brooklyn temple when you and I were young. They just like would
Param
do
para.
anything. Huh? They would,
Ooh, people like that.
there were so many. They just do anything around, but they had no particular position. They weren't very, quote, important in the hierarchy of the temple. But they
Right,
were
right.
surrendered souls.
Yes, it's true. So he was something like that. Outwardly, his life was very ordinary, doing very ordinary things. Yet he became world famous after his death because people discovered that he lived in this state of continuous, joyful, awareness of God, even while he's doing all these apparently mundane things. And they found his letters. He had these collected letters and conversations, apparently. I don't know how they were collecting his conversations in the 17th century. But these were published. And I think it was called the Practice of the Presence of God. And they say this was his core realization, Raghunath. You don't have to leave ordinary life to find God. You only have to bring God into ordinary life. Okay?
You don't have to say that again. You don't have to leave.
You don't have to
ordinary life.
leave ordinary life to find God. You only have to bring God into ordinary life.
And then your life becomes extraordinary. How about that?
Thank you.
As an add-on for Brother Lawrence.
Yeah. But, we were talking about this the other day, when we're saying it's kind of like ideally we reach this point in life where you kind of stop trying to pursue things yourself and you just end up doing what you think you're meant to do. It's kind of like if God wants me to go to Japan, I'll go to Japan. If God wants me to come back, I'll come back. If God wants me to go to India, I'll go to India. If God wants me to start a podcast, I'll start a podcast. If God wants me to stop the podcast, I'll stop. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of like, it's no longer like you're out there and you're not even saying like, I need to go here to become deep spiritually. You're doing what you think you need to do to serve. And at a certain point, you are just kind of like serving God all the time and thinking of God all the time. And then the external things don't really matter anymore. It doesn't matter I don't have a Netflix subscription. It doesn't matter if I'm not in the cool place. There's no FOMO for a person like that. It's just like, but because their ordinary life has this focus on, this, like Prabhupada would always say, 24 hours a day thinking of Krishna. It's just like, I feel God everywhere, and really in the most ordinary, simple things. Yeah, one thing, and we've talked about this on the show before, because like in the summer, there's this festival, the Swing Festival, right? For Radha and Krishna, which is a Vrindavan Leela. It's celebrated in the temples. You do kirtan, and here's the big thing. It's like it's like a real big deal. Everybody gets all excited about it. They take the little deities, these little forms of Radha and Krishna, and they put them on a swing, and you get to come up and swing them.
You get to swing them.
To outsiders, it's gonna be like, really? This is
your big holiday.
Yeah, but for people that actually have that feeling in their heart, it's like this is so beautiful. And when they take that little rope that's connected to the swing and they start swinging it, it's like the most reverent, deep. I'm serving Radha and Krishna Vrindavan. It's like such a big
the
deal,
experience is like incredibly blissful.
Yeah.
They're in line. They're anticipating. They're dreaming of the time I'm going to get up there tomorrow and swing the deities.
Yeah.
Everything's valued. Everything becomes precious.
any simple thing, if it's infused with this awareness, with this personal connection to God, it becomes magic. And so he's saying, the way he said it is like, what did he say again? He says, even if I'm doing some superordinary thing, I possess God in as great tranquility, like just as deeply, right? As if I were upon my knees at the Blessed Sacrament, which a Catholic would consider like their most reverential. That's when their intention is focused, right? Even during the sermon, they might be spacing out, but like when they're on their knees and they're about to receive the sacrament, it's like, I'm thinking of God right then. And he's saying,
And probably all these things are designed for us. Time in the temple, time perhaps as the priest on the altar, or times when we're maybe leading a kirtan, as to bring us to a holy place, to prepare us for the ordinary. Because it's hard to see the God in the ordinary. And
you're thinking like the Nava-Yogendras now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to see God in the ordinary, so we build these big, massive temples with huge chandeliers and fancy stuff and marble floor. And this is an opulent place. There must be God here. We build big churches. We build big monuments to God. But really, God is in the ordinary. God is in the garden. God is in the forest. God is in the fields and in the mountains. But sometimes we can't see. So we need maybe a special place, a special ritual for God to manifest.
I did this retreat here, one-day retreat when I first got here to Rishikesh. I think we posted it. I think we posted the recordings on the Sage Community platform, and it was like in a part 1 and a part 2, and that was the theme, Raghunath. That this is what Bhagavatam. Should I read it? I'll read you a few verses from Bhagavatam, okay?
You know what I'm realizing? I think I had a Brother Lawrence. 1 second. What? I think because the Achyuta put the Lord walks amongst the pots of pans, Brother Lawrence. I think this was in my kitchen.
Is an ISKCON.
No, I think it was my kitchen
No,
growing up as a child.
No kidding,
because I remember one day, there was always a thing of Jesus and a prayer, and I never read it. And one day I read it, and it said, "Oh Lord of pots and pans," and I laughed hysterically. And now I'm sort of
here you are.
I was like, Lord of pots and pans.
Your
here
life
it is.
Has come full circle.
Now it makes sense. I get it.
You got to get Grandma Terry on the phone right now. Let's hear about that one.
Let's phone a friend. Okay.
Now this is what I meant by saying you were thinking like the Nava-Yogendras, because they were speaking to King Nimi, and they described deity worship. And I shared this in the beginning of Sega's book, which is all about the temples in Vrindavan, his photography book. But listen, this is exactly what you were just saying, Raghunath. You ready?
Sure.
So this is how to do the ritual, right? The temple ritual, the deity ritual, the puja ritual. One who desires to quickly cut the binding knot of ego in the heart should worship the form of Krishna. With the blessings of one's revered instructor, one should approach the form of Krishna that one finds most dear. What's that for you, Raghunath? Little baby Krishna.
Sweet baby Krishna.
Sweet little baby, sweet baby.
Little baby Krishna.
Having bathed and marked one's forehead and body with the sacred symbols of devotion, one should gather the ingredients to be offered, including scented water, fragrant oils, flower garlands, incense, and oil lamps. Then, sitting before the form of the Lord, one should carefully fix him in their mind and heart and present the offerings with the appropriate mantras. With mind fully absorbed in love, one should meditate on oneself as the eternal servant of the Lord. Okay, so that's what you've done in the temple or in your little temple in your home, right? And then he says, having concluded the worship, one should see and feel the presence of Krishna everywhere, in fire, in the sun, in water, in the other elements, in the hearts of all others, and in one's own heart. In this way, the worshiper will soon be free. And so, that's what the temple is for. That's what the church is for. That's what the sacrament is for, right? This is really clearly identified here in Bhagavatam. We created this circumstance. We created this ritual. We created this temple not just so, and you know, also the Navayogantra is going to say the neophyte devotee, the beginner, the materialistic so-called devotee sees God in the temple but doesn't see God in the hearts of others. Right? That's how the beginner is defined. That they can only see God in the temple, but when they leave the temple, they don't see God in this person and that person and the other person. So yeah, I think, you know, Brother Lawrence was kind of catching on. You know, it doesn't matter if I'm in a noisy kitchen and people are yelling at me and this and that. I can feel the presence of God just as deeply right there. And there you go, Raghunath. Sometimes the average Joe looking guy is maybe even deeper than some of the monks in the temple.
Sure. All right, Brother Lawrence. Nice way to start it off today. What do you say we
Brother
dive
Lawrence.
right into the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Hey,
I'm
by the way,
down.
Sega, you think of looking for a good Christmas
Oh, that's
present?
a good Christmas gift. Yeah.
Sega's book. Maybe we can put up. Is Sega on the show today? Maybe we can put his contact up there, Mayor Pranapriya.
What was the book
Or-
called again? Vrindavan.
Vrindavan.
Just Vrindavan.
It's like a picture book of Vrindavan. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And me and Kaustubha read something in the beginning. Also, Punk to Monk. Get it. Double it.
Talk to monk?
Get a case. Buy a case. This is my new thing. Not double it. Buy a case. Give them out to people that you love on a spiritual path. All right. Narayanam namaskrityanam chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we started the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in class in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmadatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Text 57.
Okay, we're winding up the chapter right here, right now.
Exciting. The original, unmanifested form of material nature is the source of all material things. And the source of even that subtle material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. What then could one ascertain to be separate from him?
Yeah. So this is where we left off. Yes, talking about the
The
separatists.
separatists. That was
That's
nice.
a good name for a band. Yeah. So this is all in the context of the question that was asked again. Maharaj Parikshit asked Shukadeva Goswami, how is it that the women of Vrindavan loved Krishna more than their own children? And the answer was really profound when you think about it. It was he started out by saying, well, it's natural that we love ourselves or what we identify as part of ourselves, like our own children. But he said, but what these women knew somehow in their own hearts was that everything is the root of everything is Krishna. He's the self of myself. You know, so by loving Krishna wasn't
Right.
loving something that they are separated from in any way. And now Shukadeva Goswami is kind of continuing, just kind of like laying it out, I guess, like almost like biologically, or you know, he's saying, you know, if you take this entire world, the entire universe that we're living in, it's all made out of this stuff, right? This, how did he say it? The original unmanifested form of the material nature is the source of all material things. Like there's like the batter that the universe is made out of. Everything's made out of that batter, including our bodies, you know, and in a sense, well, in the material nature, we could say even including our bodies. And he's saying that, so everything in the universe is coming from that energy, and that energy, he says, is the source. And he said, I'll read it again. The original unmanifested form of the material nature is the source of all material things, and the source of even the subtle material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. What then could one ascertain to be separate from him? right? There's nothing separate from him. So naturally their love flows to him. They didn't see themselves, their children, anything from being separate from Krishna. That's where we want to get. That's what the ritual should bring us to, right? That with this kind of vision, you can be in the noisy kitchen and not in any way be disconnected from God, because everything in the kitchen is in one sense God.
All right.
You were laughing at that as a kid, Raghunath, but your mother had shared something very special there.
Very deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Priya.
Oh, this is a famous verse now, Raghunath. You know this one.
Yeah. For those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Moor demon. The ocean of material world is like the water contained in a calf's footprint. The goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So because that's such a famous verse, I'm going to do the Sanskrit.
Yeah, and this is poetry.
You usually only hear the last line quoted.
but
often.
Before you do, Raghunath, let me just say this. Earlier, like we do every day when we chant our invocation, the prayers that we chant, we say, we speak of Krishna being that one who's glorified by beautiful verses, right? How does it go? Uttama shloka, right? In our prayers every day, in the opening shlokas that we chant.
Nasta Prayesh Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama
Shloke.
Yeah.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Yeah. So to that supreme person who is praised by transcendental songs, if you took the transcendental songs that glorify Krishna, like in the Shastra, certainly other gods or their songs, there are verses in praise of them, but there's nothing like, if you just stacked up all the beautiful verses that are in praise of Krishna, it's just like a mountain. And they're very poetic and beautiful verses. And it's really Vyasadeva's most beautiful poetic works. I was just doing some research just the other day.
Yeah.
And I came across a quote by, let me find it. I'm going to find it, okay? You hang on there. It'll just take me a second. But it's by a famous German Indologist. But I want to give you his name because I want to make this solid. Indologist. You with me? Don't fall asleep while I'm doing this.
It's okay. Got a German Indologist.
Okay, so the modern German Indologist Friedrich Otto Schrader. Apparently, he was very prominent and important.
Okay.
He studied the Bhagavatam. As an academic, not as a devotee, right?
Okay.
As a scholar.
What do you say?
He wrote that the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam may very well be the most beautiful poem ever written in any language.
Wow.
That's a pretty strong statement, right?
Appreciation, yeah.
Yeah, so especially this 10th canto that we're reading now is just loaded, jam-packed with poetry, beautiful verses glorifying Krishna. He is that one. You don't even have to say Krishna. If you say, he who's glorified with beautiful verses, it's Krishna you're talking about.
Here's the Sanskrit. Samashrita yapada palava plavam mahat padam punya yasho marare bhavam budhir vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipidam natejam. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
It just sort of bounces.
Padam padam yad vipadam natesham.
Right.
Padam 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 padam.
There, and so we quote this verse, especially this last line. Their goal is param padam, right? This supreme place, right? This Vaikuntha. And what is Vaikuntha? It's separate than this world. This is the world where there's tons of anxiety. As a matter of fact, if you have no anxiety, you're pretty much a self-centered being who's like, in deep illusion. But once you have anything you love, there's some fear, like you could lose something you love. If you have children, you're worried about them when they're babies. You're worried about them when they're toddlers. You're worried about them when they're in junior high school. You're worried about them as adults. If you have a home, you're worried about, am I going to pay this home? Or if you have savings, you're worried about, can I keep my savings? If you have no savings, you're thinking, how can I get savings? The whole material world is designed to give us some type of anxiety. So if you have some anxiety, you're right on track. You're doing everything right. That's what the material world is, a place where now we don't want to get it so bad where we're crippled by our anxiety, but it's understandable if you have anxiety. Why? Because we want happiness. By nature, we want happiness. And the problem is we live in a temporary world. That's a massive maha problem, right? So the goal of these devotees is Parampadam Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place, this place, where there is danger at every step. And if you don't think there's not danger at every step, you got your head stuck way down a hole.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
Tsunami could hit you any moment.
Tsunami could hit you at any second. The tsunami, you might be like, well, big deal. I'm not near the water. It doesn't matter. There's a nuclear power plant right by the water. That wasn't great planning, Japan. Let's build it right by the ocean.
They got everything else right.
They got everything else right, pretty much.
It's a small island, Raghunath. It's like,
you know what? They've done a lot of good, these Japanese. But at any minute, whether there's a tsunami, whether there's a war, or whether you just trip down a flight of stairs, people just screw up by what we call freaks of nature. They fall off they just play around. They fall off of we're on the 6th floor of Dominica's apartment building. And I was looking down. I was like, I am just like an inch away from like flying over these rails and landing on the parking garage. You know, that's in a moment. You could just trip and break your skull open. Things like this happen
happens
at every moment. Happens all the time.
every day.
Every day. And every day. And then we're shocked, like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened. And we become like sober for like 24 hours. Like that could happen to me. There's danger at every step. We get that.
And that's unnatural, right? Like we think, yeah, well, that's natural. It's actually just the nature of this realm that we're in, this prison that we're in, you know.
Sure.
And just here it's saying, but there's a way beyond that.
Yeah.
Simply that person that we were just talking about, that nothing is separate from, just take shelter in that person. And this material world, crossing it is like this ocean. You can't cross an ocean. You look at an ocean, you just can't get across it on your own. It shrinks down, not even to a gopadam, you know, not even a cow's hoof print, but a vatsas, you know, vatsapadam, the hoof print of a calf.
Here's a perfect example. I'm in Japan, and in Japan, there's just all different types of sense gratification, from the grossest types of sense gratification, from like in the store, there's just like candy and sweets that I've never eaten before. I was like, I want to try that. I want to try that. I want to try that. Oh, look at that melon soda. I want to try that. Melon soda with matcha ice cream inside. I want to try that. And then there's all these very, very like sophisticated sweets they make, almost like a Bengali sweet shop, you know, where they have like, it's like a real art. So there's all these Japanese artistic sweets where you're like, well, I just want to experience the culture, right? And with that culture comes, these beautiful temples. And in the temples, they have beautiful musical instruments. And they have a beautiful way of carving into stone and laying the stone and then trimming the tree like these bonsai trees, right? And there's all these incredible Japanese gardens. And you could just get lost in the culture without ever understanding that this is a temporary world. We went to a vegan sushi place that was like incredible. You could spend your life studying how to make sushi.
Sounds like you are spending your life.
Well, all I'm saying is it's so easy to get caught up, and you're digging down a very deep, attractive hole that goes nowhere. It goes nowhere because God's not at the center of it. But you can get lost in culture. You can get lost in aesthetics. You can get lost in, you can get lost in music. You can get lost anywhere. And you're only getting lost if it's not bringing you to God. But if you just get wrapped up in culture, it is like crossing the ocean. And everything could pull you in so many different directions with these hopes to enjoy the material world or think by just understanding this, then I'll be satisfied and I'll feel deeply connected. You won't. You'll have some other aspect of culture. You'll have a different understanding, but you won't be necessarily connected to God. But if you apply the wisdom of the Bhagavatam to your life, that great ocean of birth and death that the soul has to traverse, that is constantly pulling you, like Kaustubha Prabhu was saying, it's like you're in a tiny boat and you're trying to cross the ocean. It seems impossible. Well, that ocean becomes tiny, tiny, because you don't waste your time anymore. You don't mind. You don't mind Japanese culture, Chinese culture, South American culture. You don't mind any of that culture, because the devotee knows how to build bridges to God. Isn't that interesting? We build bridges to God wherever we are. You and by Prabhupada's mercy, you and I can do anything, and somehow we'll tie it into God. Why? Prabhupada taught us how to do it.
Right. I
could teach a jiu-jitsu class to 20 people, and somehow I could turn it into a God class. Throw God in there somehow. And we'd all be doing kirtan by the end of the week. Okay, this is what we do. If you really want to fight better, you got to start chanting. It's true.
It's true.
What do you think about that?
It's a beautiful verse, and what's being said here. Anyway, read the next. We're almost going to finish this chapter. Let's read it, and we can discuss this a bit more.
All right, sir. Since you have inquired for me, I have fully described to you those activities of Lord Hari that were performed in his 5th year, but not celebrated until his 6th.
And that was because of the whole year kind of missing of time, there because of Brahmā. But and notice that now we're getting to this point where there's a shift, and this is going to be mentioned here, Raghunath. We're shifting from, do you know? Can you say? With the Sanskrit terminology?
Poganda to Kumar.
I think it's the other way, isn't it? Kumar to Poganda.
No.
I'm pretty sure. Look at you calculating. You got like numbers and calculations going on.
Poganda, Kumar, right, and then Kishore. Isn't it like that? Isn't that the order?
Kishore is after Poganda, I believe. Kumar, I think, is the beginning. Is that right?
No, Kumar, I don't think you're right on that one. But I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to come off like I know.
Why don't we get Prana Priya on that one?
All I know is I know jumping all over this. You know what she's jumping all over right now? Her knitting. I've been yelling at you for your knitting since show number 1, episode 001. Prana Priya.
Well, I didn't, because I felt like if you're not correct, then you get upset when I take sides with Kaustubha.
Well,
that's right. If she takes my side,
then you know what? This is informant number 2. Nityananda Chandra. He says Poganda, Kumar, Kishore, Yovana is what he thinks.
Is he sure about that?
Once he says, I think, he's speculating.
Kumar, childhood.
Okay, Kanuram says Kumar,
that's
Poganda,
right, Kumar.
Kishore.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I said,
Kumar,
right?
Poganda, Kishore.
Yeah, so he's going from Kumara to Poganda now.
Now Kanuram's taking sides with Kaustubha.
And you got Nityananda taking sides with you. Taking sides with Kaustubha.
Kumar is younger than Poganda. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Probably if we were Indian, we'd know this because it's probably part of their.
Well, Kumar means boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any case, let's continue. Now he's going to say, this again. The blessing of just hearing this. That this is repeated over and over again. We're hearing it throughout the Bhagavatam. We heard it right from the beginning. We hear it from beginning through the middle to the end. Just by hearing this stuff, it changes you. Just by hearing the stuff, you're doing like an incredibly powerful form of yoga.
Sure. It's like, you know what it's like, Kaustubha? It's like, I've been walking around, for example, with me, I haven't been like looking at a map. I've just been walking around wherever Dominica takes me. Prana Priya has been sort of looking at the map like, oh, we're in the north part of town right now. Oh, we're in the west. Well, we're close to the sea. I've just been like a child in the backseat of a car, basically, just
You're
like,
where
are we
can I have some
going
of that
now,
melon
Mom?
drink? It's the melon soda.
I'm hungry. I gotta go to the bathroom. That's been me. But imagine if somebody actually shows you a map, like, no, this is north. Duh. This is south. Do you understand? We're near the ocean here. See it? You can see over there. See, the sun is setting because we're heading south right now, etc. So it's one of these things that the Bhagavatam shows the map, who we are, what our material body is, what our desires are, what the goal is, right? And the big important thing is you're on a road trip. You got to, well, where am I going on the road trip? Am I going to Scranton or am I going to L.A.? If you're going to L.A., don't hang out in Scranton too much.
Scranton.
You can stop, you can refuel, you can go, bathroom break, but come on. Scranton's very nice, but it's not L.A. So the same thing. You got to understand where you're going. Where's north? Where's south? Where's east? Where's west? What's your body? Who are you? How do you become happy? Right? What's the purpose behind family? What's the purpose behind our hobbies? What's the purpose behind knowledge? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, it's got all the answers right there. It's as if the mysteries of the universe have dropped right upon our laps, and we've done nothing to deserve it. Right?
Thank you, Raghunath. Yes, absolutely. Now we have 2 verses left to finish the chapter.
All right. Any person who hears or chants these pastimes, Lord Murari performed, that's Krishna, Lord Murari, with his cowherd friends, the killing of Aghasura, the taking of lunch on the forest grass, the Lord's manifestation of transcendental forms, and the wonderful prayers offered by Lord Brahmā, is sure to achieve all his spiritual desires.
That's just what
that was
a summary of this chapter, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, too. Desires aren't bad, people. Me and Dominica were having this conversation today, right? The monks are walking around practically barefoot in the snow. It's not snowing here, but I saw a video of them walking around barefoot in the snow, just like sweeping, splitting wood to try to sever themselves from their body, to try to get rid of, like, okay, I don't want comfort. I don't want to look beautiful. I just want to do my duties. And I get it. There is some perk from renunciation of sense enjoyment. But at the same time, the soul will desire. I can't just shove desire underground. I have to know how to spiritualize desire. I have to know how to desire things that are good for me, that make me feel whole and connected and in love and joyful. And that's what we're doing. We are a desiring being, right? And we just have this meat suit that we're wearing. And therefore, I want to desire other types of meat in the forms of material enjoyment through my tongue and through my eyes and through my ears and through my belly and genitals, etc. I'm just No. Krishna says, no, you take that and you repose that in me. All that desire is naturally there, and there's great joy in it. The problem with desiring things of this world is temporary. It goes. It comes and it goes. Therefore, those who are important, do not delight in them. That's not me talking. That's Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the verse? Yahisham sparshaja boga dukkha yognaya evate. Right? The intelligent persons do not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. Such so-called pleasures have a beginning and an end. So the wise do not delight in them. They want something more subtle. They delight in Shabda Brahman.
There you
spiritual
go.
pleasure.
This is saying, right? You just chant. You just hear this chapter, right, and you will achieve all your spiritual desires and more. Now, this last verse, Raghunath, is, to me, it's, there's just such beauty in it because we've heard so much in this chapter. This is a long way back when Brahmā started his prayers, right? And he was giving this whole theology, this whole philosophy about life, about how we should deal with the problems that come our way. He was saying that, even if you could count every atom in the universe, you still can't understand this Krishna who's beyond all of this. He went on
Right.
in great depth and detail. Then he humbly kind of bowed out of the scene because he was like, even though I'm like the creator of the universe, I'm not qualified to be in this zone here with these kids. And then there's, you know, more glorification of Krishna. Maharaj Pariksit asked this question, you know, kind of a interesting philosophical question about the nature of love. You know, the boy sage, Sukadeva Goswami gives a super far out thing where he talks about the nature of love, and then he gets this whole, he goes into the oneness of how there's nothing that's separate from Krishna. We've heard all this philosophy and incredible things we've heard. And then the last verse, it's like you're popping into a children's story again. It sounds
Right.
totally insignificant, but it's actually the most significant thing. That's the point, you know?
Sure.
And that's this text 61 right now.
That's a good point. It sounds like, really, we're going to do like the Grimm's
That's how you
Brothers
end this
nursery
chapter?
rhymes, or no, this is actually what we're meditating on.
Or
This
even
is-
Romper Room or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In this way, the boys spent their childhood in the land of Vrindavan, playing the hide and go seek, building play bridges, jumping about like monkeys, and engaging in many other such games. Right? Imagine great philosophers like, you know, Western philosophers for the first time. Okay, I heard about this Indian spirituality. Then they stumble upon the Upanishads, or even that verse we just
interesting
read
stuff.
about the temporality of this world, and that there's you know, danger at every
Danger at
moment.
everything,
And then all of a sudden it lands on this verse. Like,
Yeah.
how do they get their head around it?
Yeah. But this is what the Supreme Absolute Truth does. And this goes, in my mind, this ties back into what Brother Lawrence was saying. For Brother Lawrence, it didn't matter if he was in a cathedral, if he was in a busy kitchen. And for Krishna, that Supreme Absolute Truth, he is actually, he's not looking for control. He's not looking for judging. He's not trying to create. You know, he could be like, I'm really into creation and creating universes and then destroying them or whatever.
Right.
This is what he's interested in, because what's more important is what's inside the activity, and it's what's inside these gestures of playing with your friends, is that it's a perfect setting to share love, to feel love, and to share love. And he's jumping around like a monkey to do it. You know, he's not sitting on a throne with people like, what do they call it? Lavishing themselves, with people like throwing themselves at his feet, and he's getting off on that. No, he wants to jump around with you like a monkey and play Let's Build the Bridge and let's play hide and go seek. That's the person that we're afraid of.
Our
That's
Lord.
the person.
That is our Lord.
That's the person we have this whole existential crisis that has us stuck in this world, because we have these daddy issues and we're afraid of this person who's going to exploit us and control us and judge us. You know, no, this is what he's doing.
Yeah. Really interesting, isn't it? This whole philosophy is incredibly interesting. Applying it to our life in the contemporary world is very interesting.
It certainly is.
You know?
And maybe final note, by saying this, Krishna's playing hide and go seek, he's building bridges, he's jumping around like monkeys. The commentators on this say this summarizes the Kumara pastimes. This is what and now he's about to switch into Poganda.
Right? Kids
and now
do
we're gonna
different
see-
things at different ages.
That's right. Now Krishna get a little interested in the girls. Now, you know, it's like things are gonna shift a little bit, you know. But especially in the earlier part, this is what he's doing: jumping around like a monkey, playing hide and go seek.
Very interesting. Okay, Pranapriya, you got some takeaways for us?
I do have some.
How was your
takeaways.
day today, Pranapriya? Did you have a good day today?
It was great. I'm a little sad to be leaving Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was a
Japan.
great trip.
You know what? She likes
leaving
Japan.
Rishikesh.
I do.
You know why she likes Japan? People are quiet.
Polite.
People are polite. There's no talking on the. They make this announcement before you get on the train. Please turn off your cell phones. Put your cell phones on silent. No talking on the phones on the train.
It's a very Sattvic culture.
It's
Very
Sattvic
organized.
sans God.
Raghunath, do you feel a little
I mean,
Oh,
oppressed?
look
there?
at there's Dominica. No. There's God there. You just don't see him. No, there's no God there. Are you kidding?
We spent
You
our whole
just have to
day
look
in
for
like a, temple town.
Yeah, in a temple town trying to forget God and think that God is nothing.
All right.
Anyway, it is interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, what
Ready
you
for
got?
some takeaways?
I'm ready.
All right, what do you got, Brahmā?
Just because you're wearing robes doesn't mean you've dealt with your issues.
That's
Yeah.
right. Just
We
because
can
you're
encounter-
not wearing robes doesn't mean that you haven't dealt with your issues.
It's true.
And just because you're wearing robes could mean you're dealing with your issues.
And just because you're wearing robes doesn't mean that you should not take them off. Keep them on.
Yeah. And just because you're not wearing robes doesn't mean you don't have issues. You might have lots of issues.
Probably.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarity on that. We can encounter God everywhere, even in the kitchen.
Even in
Even in
Japan.
the okay.
The sacred is already embedded in the simple.
That's right.
I like that.
Sacred's in the simple. I like that.
Your external world doesn't need to become divine. See it with divine eyes.
That was a really great point.
Are you listening?
No, I wasn't.
No.
What did it say it again? I was on the chat board.
Your external world doesn't need to become divine. Just see it with divine eyes. Like you don't have to wait till everything in your external world.
Or you don't have to be in like this perfect, like we were in a we were in a beautiful place today. It doesn't have to be a beautiful place necessarily.
No.
Sometimes assists you to see it. Right?
Yes.
It was a very beautiful place,
It
wasn't it?
was beautiful, yeah.
I was getting caught up in the flora.
Well, as a part-time botanist, of course.
I was like,
Naturally,
I had
that's what
my
you're drawn
app
to.
out the entire time. Oh, what kind of cedar
got
tree
a-
is that?
Raghunath working with the monks on making one of those sand mandala kind of things, you know.
They destroy it. It's all nothing.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they do.
The material world is designed to give us anxiety.
Yeah, it is.
Danger
There's
at
a
every
maha
step.
problem. Yeah. There's a maha problem when we're looking for happiness in a temporary world.
That's a maha problem.
Yeah, it doesn't work out.
If you don't think there's danger at every step, just open your eyes. There's a tsunami coming.
Thank you.
It's the tsunami of old age, the tsunami, the tsunami of whatever accidents, car accidents, sinkholes, diseases, infestations of locusts.
Thanks for including that. Gets left out.
Sometimes people think that you can't all of a sudden get an infestation of locusts. You can at any minute.
Any minute. Apply the wisdom of the Bhāgavatam to build bridges to God.
Okay.
Build a bridge. You can keep it simple. Build a bridge.
Spiritualize desire.
Spiritualize
There you go.
your
Is that
desires.
tight enough there for you?
Yeah, it's simple.
I'm tightening it up for you.
It's appreciated.
That's what I do. Branding by
You made that one
Raghunath.
longer. Nobody pays you for it, but you do it.
And if you're going to LA, don't hang out in Scranton.
Oh, that's
That's
a
right.
good one. That's a good one.
Oh, Scranton.
Don't hang out in Scranton,
Nothing against
people.
Scranton.
You know where you can hang out, Kaustubha?
Where?
Hang out in Mayapur with us. Boom. Right
Oh,
after the
nice.
GE,
Right.
right
Brandon
after our
it. I love
teacher
it.
training, we are
Always the
having a
closer.
retreat. Our Mayapur retreat is our third annual one we're doing. And we're going to go to all the holy places of Lord Chaitanya. We're going to do lots of hearing and chanting. I'm going to read from Chaitanya Bhagavat, do kirtans. Kaustubha's going to talk, do his thing, do his
Hey.
little dance.
And we're going to see those deities that are the Krishna miracle deities. New story. We haven't shared with everyone yet.
Oh, yeah. We're going to tell that story. But we are going to Mayapur. Basically,
But Chandra
that
Radha
is
wants to know, when is it? Begins the
That is-
January
26th.
26th. Yeah, February 2nd.
Nityananda Chandra, is it on the board yet? If it's not, and it's a very reasonable price too. So email Tara here at Raghu, RAGHU, .pilgrimage@gmail.com. I'm looking forward to it's a great way to wind down after we've been at the GEB and then go to beautiful Mayapur. Love doing that.
love it.
All right.